Hello class. Today's story is called Diggers, Machines on the Move. And this has some of the same machines that we saw in our construction vehicle memory game. So this will help us get to know the names of some of these machines more and what they do, what their job is. Diggers, Machines on the Move. And what do we see on the front here? A front end loader and a caterpillar. That doesn't look like the caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. Maybe we'll find out some more about it in the book. What is a digger? A digger is a powerful machine that moves earth and rock. It is used for all kinds of building work, from laying roads to digging tunnels. There are many kinds of diggers. Some dig trenches or drill holes in the ground. Others are used to knock down buildings or clear away rocks and rubble. So there is a digger right here. And you can see his big tires. Big, strong tires with ridges, grip slippery or rough ground. And you can see that he's picking up a whole bunch of big rocks there. And here's the parts of the digger. The loader, of course, is at the front. The cab is where the driver sits. The boom is the arm. Do you remember you put the arm together on the excavator craft you had? The dipper arm is the second part of the arm. So the boom is the main part, and the dipper arm is the second part that moves down that has the bucket on it. And here's a mini digger. So there's smaller ones. Most diggers are big, but a mini digger is very small. It could easily fit in a big digger's loader. So the mini digger could fit in the big digger's loader. Mini diggers are used for work in very tight spaces where the bigger digger can't fit. And these tracks on the mini digger are called crawler tracks. The big digger has wheels, but the mini digger has crawler tracks. Here's what it looks like inside the digger. There's joysticks that control the boom when it goes up and down with the arm, and levers. These are the joysticks, like maybe on a video game, and these are the levers. And here's the engine. Boy, that's a big engine to make a big machine like that work. It's run by diesel. Do you remember that Mary Ann was a steam engine and she was getting replaced by diesel engines? We have more diesel engines around today than steam engines. And here's an excavator, like what you put together for your craft. An excavator is the most useful kind of machine on a building site. It can dig trenches, lift heavy objects, and carry dirt in its big bucket. The excavator cab is set on a platform above the crawler tracks. It can turn in a complete circle. Isn't that cool? The digger can't turn like that, but the excavator can turn all the way around. Like an owl can turn its neck all the way around. So it can move material from one side to the other side. Here's a backhoe. The digger that you are most likely to see is a backhoe loader. It has digging tools at each end. On the back is a long movable arm with a small bucket. This is a backhoe. On the front is a big bucket for picking up rubble. So there's a shovel on the front end and the back end. The front end is the loader and the back end is the backhoe. The seat that the driver sits in swivels around so he can operate both the loader at the front and the backhoe at the back. That is the backhoe. Here's another piece of heavy machinery. It's called a dredger. A dredger is used to dig up silt and mud from the bottom of rivers. So you can see it's in the water. It digs up the guck from the bottom of rivers and seas. This is done to make the water deeper so that boats can pass through. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? A dredger lifts up muck and silt on the bottom to dig down further so boats can pass through. That's a dredger. Pile drivers. A pile driver is a machine that hammers strong beams deep into the earth. So the dredger was in the water. The pile driver works on ground and it hammers strong beams deep down into the earth. These beams are called piles. They make a firm foundation for buildings on soft ground. So if the ground where they want to build is soft, the pile driver puts down beams that are called piles for the foundation for the new building to go on top of so that the ground isn't so soft anymore. That's the pile driver. The crane. You've all seen cranes before. They have a pile driver sometimes attached to the crane. The crane is the great big tall arm that goes way up. And the crane lifts up heavy things. So it attaches to whatever they need it to lift. That's the crane. It has a big hook to attach to whatever they want to lift up. Bulldozers. There's the big blade on the front of the bulldozer, and it also has the crawler wheels. Instead of wheels, it has crawlers. You can see why they're called crawlers. They crawl across the ground. A building site has to be flattened and cleared of all the rubble. This is usually the job of the bulldozer. It's a powerful machine with a large metal blade on the front, and it pushes the rocks and rubble into piles. Then the piles can be loaded into the dump truck. Here's a snowplow. We see those in the winter, and we know what their job is. It's an important job to keep our roads free from snow and safe. It's a kind of a bulldozer. It has a shovel on the front that pushes the snow out of the way, a blade, and then the snow is pushed off the roads. All right, here's a scraper. Before a road is built, the ground has to be made level and smooth. The scraper is a machine with a metal blade that slices off the top layer of the ground so the pavement can be put down. It smooths out the ground and slices off the top layer. And then the paver comes through and puts the asphalt or the pavement on top when the ground has been made smooth and scraped by the scraper. And there's the paver at the top. You know that strong smelling asphalt that goes down on the roads? Here's a roller, and we know why that's called a roller. What's on the front of it? A great big roller. The roller drives along behind the paver, and there you can see the asphalt is on the road now. It squeezes down the hot asphalt and leaves it smooth and hard. So many big machines. What else do we have here? This is a landfill compactor. It presses down the garbage in the garbage dump so that it doesn't take up as much space. Landfill compactor. When something is compacted, it's put into a smaller space. Drillers. Drillers dig down in the ground. They dig deep holes into the earth to find oil, gas, and water. So that's a driller. And if people are building a new house out in the country and they need a well, a driller will come to dig a big hole in the ground to put a well in so that they can get water. This is a neat machine. It's called a tunneler. Tunneler machines dig through rock, mud, and sand, and they make tunnels for roads and railways deep under the ground. There's the cutting head that spins around and makes a tunnel deep under the ground. There it is right there. That's massive. That's very big, isn't it? It's a big drill. That's the tunneler. Under mountains. Well, some diggers can even be operated by remote control, so no one has to sit in the cab. See this man? He's making that digger go by remote control. Isn't that cool? I think we'll stop there, but let's review some of the machines that we talked about and what they do. We talked about the digger and the mini digger. Moves earth and rock. We talked about excavator that can swivel around from one side to the other. We talked about the backhoe loaders. They have a loader at the front and a backhoe at the back. And the chair in the cab swivels so that the driver can operate the loader at the front and then the backhoe at the back. We talked about dredgers that take mud from the bottom of the sea so that boats can go through to make it the water deeper so that boats can pass through. We talked about pile drivers that put piles down to make foundations for buildings on soft ground. We talked about cranes that have hooks to lift up heavy things high into the air. We talked about bulldozers that have a big blade to move rock that is then loaded into the dump truck. And snow plows are a type of bulldozer because they bulldoze the snow with their blade. Scraping the ground and taking off the top layer so it can be paved. The paver. And then the roller makes the pavement smooth and hard. We talked about the driller that drills down into the earth for water and oil. So many cool big machines that have important jobs, and the tunneler that goes through mountains, puts tunnels through for railways, the big drill. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about some of those big machines, and when you play your memory game, you'll know a little bit more about what these different machines are. Bye for now.